Hey friends, today let's take a look at this great fingerstyle song, classic from the 70s, Fleetwood Mac, of course Lindsay, Buckingham, genius piece, Never Going Back Again. And before we begin, if you would please subscribe, I'd greatly appreciate it. It's good to know that there are people out there that are actually getting something out of all of this information that I'm sharing, and makes it all worthwhile. So thanks very much. So instead of rehashing what's already out there on the internet, there's some tremendous tutorials on exactly how to play this note for note in the original D tuning. I thought what I'd do is I'd take a look at it from a different angle, give you something different to think about here. Recently I got a hold of the original tab for the piece in the drop D, and I noticed if you drop 2 frets off the tab, you can pretty much see how this G standard tuning can work quite nicely. So anyways, let's take a look at it. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you feel that 3 kind of pull you down, that G, to get that pulse for that rhythm on that piece. So it's 1, 2, 3. And my fat finger's getting in the way there on that 0, but you get the idea. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, da, 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 da. Okay, so now the second measure kind of answers that in a way. Instead of going on a hammer-on, now we're going to pull off. So on the second measure, we've got 3, and again, it's 16th, so it's inside that first beat. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again with the high 3s on the G, giving that little rhythmic pulse there. The 3s there coming in the same rhythm as in the first measure on the and of beat 3, and right away on 4 on the right? So 4 and So it's 3 and 4 and So 3 and 4 and and so that gives you that rhythmic pulse to the whole thing. 3 and 4 and there's no final 16th there, so you get a little bit of a rest. So those 2 measures should sound something like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and again and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 2, 3 and 4 and you want to just work that up. Okay, so that's the beginning, that's the first 2. Then we go into the G magic here. So what we're doing is we're actually playing a G7 with the E on the bottom, right? Which is a G13, and we're playing this with the finger picking, as you can see. Da da da. So basically, we're just waterfalling these top 3 strings and putting the bass in. Da 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 da. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and little waterfall technique. It's tricky, but remember the bass is going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and underneath da 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 da, and we want to work that up, and then we come back to the C and C to 2, and then a 3 to 5 slide back down, and then finish that off with the C. Da, 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 da. So these first 4 measures, which are repeated many times, of course, should sound something like this. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so that's basically what you should have in the first 4. When you're doing the sometimes I will actually leave out the first finger. It's a little bit cleaner. Sometimes this gets a little muddy. You could leave out the first one, so you could make it a little easier rhythmically. It could be ba da 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 da. Little shortcuts you can implement. May or may not fit what you're doing. Okay, so that takes us to the part where they go up. So here's where the drop D kind of makes sense when you go up to the higher part, because in the original it's much easier to do this in the drop D if you're just barring the 3 as you would play like an A7, right? But up here on the 7th fret, and then you're playing the 10th fret with the little pinky. So basically you've got right? And then what you'll see in the original is playing the 2 and then coming down and playing the 8 and the 9 to get the kind of a cool sound on that chord. So and of course the D bass is working, right? But we don't have that here with the standard tuning. So we had to alter this a little bit. So there's a couple of possibilities that we could use. So here's option 1. We're going to go 10, 9, 8. Okay, basically just the old-fashioned F chord, right? So what do we got here? We've got F, G, A, B. That's a C chord, right? Of course, we're playing it in G. So G and C are the prominent chords here, right? So we're playing a C chord up on the 8th fret. Remember, the bar chord for the C is the full bar. We can play just the 4. And what we've got here is, on the tab, we've got, and we're rotating the bass. Okay, so we're getting the C bass, then we're getting a G bass. Okay, so you can see in that tab on that line, it's going 10, 10, 10, 10 on the 1, 2, and the 3, and the 4 beat, right? So to play this, we're going to start it with the F chord, okay, which is really a C chord in that fret, right? But the F model, we're playing a C chord, and then on the next part, because we need to hit the 12, we're going to be playing a 7th chord there, and that 7th chord, of course, is going to be what? We're in the A series, so that's a G chord, right? So we're playing a C chord and a G chord, a C chord and a G chord in 2 different places than the usual C, G. Okay, so we're playing C chord and G7. Or you could play full G. So here we go on the tab. We've got the 10. We pluck. If you're playing that 7th with the standard bar chord 7th, this is easy to pick, right? Because the notes are all there. We're just going through them. And then we come back. And then we just cascade with the 8. So we sound like this. So that's one way you could do it. The other thing you could do is you could come way up here an octave above on the 15, 14, and 13 fret and just play a C chord. Okay, so we start that with a C chord and then we come down again to play that G7 in the same way we did in that last option. For me, that one speaks a little better because my fingers are not so crammed up. So you might like this one a little better. Okay, and so that is another option you can use. And then you do that 3 times and then you come back to the A minor chord to get yourself back into the original. So here's that A minor tab. So we've got to open basically an A minor chord, and then we've got a nice little array of 16th notes with nothing, so we can rest. And then we come back, and I would probably just put the A minor right back down so you don't have to think about it. And then the 2 is there, right, from the A minor, and then we come up for the G, for the 3. So we're transitioning into a G chord here, and then we come back and we hammer on and we're back into the C. So bum 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 bum, something like that. And that's pretty much the whole tune. And with all of that being said, another thing you can do is take out the old trusty capo and put it somewhere around the 4th or 5th fret. And if you do that, that playing up higher isn't so important anymore. And you can actually just do the whole thing with the C and the G. Sounds something like this. She broke down and had me in. Made me see where I'd been. Been down one time, been down 2 times, never going back again. Never going back again. Something like that. So you can see this is definitely something to play with, playing the whole song in the key of G. So I hope that's of some use to you. By all means, put some comments down below if you want to share what you think about the whole approach, and I look forward to hearing from you. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep on keeping on.